आवर्तितं नतं 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 क्षिप्तम् उद्वाहितमतापि वा उद्वाहितमतापि वा परिवृत्तं मता चैव जङ्गा कर्माणि पञ्चधा. I am giving you all this in a nutshell. It takes years and years to practice all this and by heart these shlokas. If you come to my institution, you will find tiny tots reciting all these and performing all these. So these are some of the extensions that you saw. And now the sthanas and Nrittahastas have been seen. The third element of Natya Shastra, the Karana, is the chari, or the movement of the entire leg. The term comes from the root char, to move. We have two kinds of charis. One is the bhumi chari, where the feet are close to the ground. The other is the akasha chari, where the feet are on the space. It can be a leap, jump, or extension of the limb. These are called akashcharis. It is not, in a lighter vein, somebody described the akashchari some years back as movements performed by apsaras in heaven and also on earth when there was no gravity 2000 years ago, and it was like the first step of Armstrong on moon. Well, this is not a story. The Akashacharis are movements which have been performed by dancers very much with gravitation on earth, and these are the leaps and jumps, and the entire Western ballet technique is more based on Akashcharis. Samapadachari is known to everybody. It is still retained in all the forms. And all the prastaras are done in this. And then you have the Stitavrittachari. Tati ta ta, 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 tati ta ta. Then you have Syantita and Apasyantita. This is still seen in some of the Mayadavu and also in the traditional Jatiswarams of the Sadhur style. Ta, ta ta ka dinna ta. Ta, ta ta ka dinna ta. Ta ta ka dinna ta. Ta ta ka dinna ta. Ta ta ka dinna. The same thing would be done with a break in Jatiswaram. And the same thing is seen in Mohiniyattam also. I'm not doing it authentically. I'm only trying to recapture something of the spirit of Mohiniyattam because this is a movement I have seen in Mohiniyattam. Don't take me to be a Mohiniyattam dancer. Sa ga pa da ni da pa ga ni sa ni sa re ga ga ri sa ni pa da ni sa ga pa da ni da pa ga ni sa re ga ga ri sa ni pa da ni sa ga pa da ni da pa ga ni sa re ga ga ri sa ni pa da ni sa. And in fact, among the Nritta Hastas that I did, Chaturashrau Tata, Udvrittau Tata, the second one called Udvritta Nritta Hasta is very much there in Mohiniyattam. I have seen it. I will perform a Bhumichari called Mattalli and Samotsarita Mattalli. It's a cross-leg movement where the Kunchita Pada is used, where you have the arched sole. This Mattalli, I feel, must have evolved and got simplified in Kuchipudi, where I have seen a very beautiful movement. It's a cross-leg movement. I'm not sure how I perform, but it is something like this. Instead of the rhombus formed in Mandala Sthana, when it becomes a Janga Swastika and not a mere Pada Swastika as mentioned in the Natya Shastra with the Kunchita Pada, it becomes a Parshni Swastika in Janga Swastika. So the Mattalli must have got simplified in Kuchipudi. One or two Akashcharis. The first chari is Atikranta. Ta, 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 dina, ta, 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 dina, ta, 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 dina, ta, 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 dina, ta, 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 dina. Apakranta. Dina, ta, 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 dina, din, ta, ta, 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 dina, ta, din, ta, ta, dina, ta. And the opposite of that is Akshipta. Now she was taking it from inward to outward, it was going. The thigh was turned outwards. Now you will see the opposite. Ta, 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 dina, di, ta, ta, dina, 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 ta. just perform one more. She will perform Vidyut Bhranta, which has to be done in a very quick tempo. Vidyut means lightning, and you will see the streaks of lightning on the air. Dirigudu Dalankata, Dirigudu Dalankata, Dirigudu Dalankata, Dirigudu Dalankata, Dirigudu Dalankata, Dalankata. So this is the Vidyut Bhranta Chari. Now I will show you how a Karana is made. Now she performed Akshipta Chari. I'll develop on that itself. Akshipta Chari, this is done once, okay, fine. This has to be combined with the Pallava Hasta, it's a Nritta Hasta, the Pallava Nritta Hasta, which comes and then crosses near the knee. And then this has to be followed by another chari called Baddha Chari, which is also another cross-leg movement, but this Baddha Chari is a Bhumi Chari. Now you see how an Akash Chari is combined with a Bhumi Chari. This Chari, this Baddha Chari, is a very graceful movement. Chidambaram sculpture has this posture. So if I do some adavu, adding one or two adavus and then freeze it suddenly like this, it cannot be a Karana. You saw how many movements precede this particular posture. And to give you one more, Kati Chinna. Here, the waist has to be broken. It literally means breaking the waist. It breaks when you initially practice. So here is a very beautiful movement. And because of different readings, more than one interpretation was possible. Because there are different recensions of the Natya Shastra, and even a small little change in a particular syllable will completely change the movement itself. So I will show you just one or two variations. Instead of just showing you one Karana, I'll show you how I have integrated it in a Tirmanam.
na, ga, di, idim, na, ga, di, mi, da, di, da, di, da, di, da, 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 di, mi, da, di, mi, da, di, mi, da, di, mi, da, ki, da, da, ga, dim, na, ga, di, dim, na, ga, di, di, da, di, da, di, da, da, ga, di, mi, da, di, mi, da, di, mi, da, di, mi, da, ki, da, ga, dim, na, ga, di.
I'll show you a movement called Mayura Lalitam. Before that, this Kati Chinnam, this is how you see it frozen in Tanjavur. And like this in Chidambaram. And the first Karana that I showed you, starting with Akshitachari and ending as Baddha, is called Valitorukam. Karana is called Valitorukam. Because Uru means thigh. Valita Uru means the twisted thigh. And when I did Baddhachari, somebody remarked that I am copying cabaret. And then now I will perform Mayura Lalitam. The hands are to be Rechita. The leg has to be Vrishchika Pada. Vrishchika means scorpion. Just like how the scorpion takes its tail backwards, the leg is kicked backwards, and that's called Vrishchika Pada. And the Trika, or the sacrum, which is the last part of the vertebral column, has to be twisted. This gives rise to Mayura Lalitam, or the graceful sport of peacock. Actually, this movement has crossed the ocean and gone along with our culture and our religion to Indonesia. And the name given there is astounding. You see the similarity, Mayuret. But there is a small little difference in their doing it. The leg which has to be taken up has to be Kunchita Pada according to the original tradition. But if you see Indonesian dancers, they will have Anchita Pada. And the hand stops here, doesn't go up. Stays here and not this. Now coming to the animal kingdom, I like to show you Gajakriditam, or the gait of the elephant. I think I should tell you how I work the Karanas. Now you see, I am giving you the definition as found in Natya Shastra. Karne anchita karo vamo, lata hastascha dakshinaha, dola padas tada chaiva, gaja kriditakam bhavet. It says when the left hand is bent near the left ear, karne anchita karo vamo, lata hastascha dakshinaha, the other hand sways like a creeper. So this, and then what about the Nrittahastas are given? That means it's Karihasta. Karihasta is the Nrittahasta, which is described here poetically. And then Dola Padastadacheva, the leg has to undergo the Dola Padachari. That means if you only know the Nrittahasta, only if you know how to perform Dola Padachari, you will understand what this Karana is. It is simply seen in this posture in Tanjavur. I'm sorry, like this in Tanjavur, and like this in Chidambaram. So simply standing like this means nothing. I can only compare it with an Adavu being performed as a posture. Suppose Adavus are all forgotten. Say 200 years later, some mad girl like me starts working on Adavus, trying to reconstruct what the Adavu technique was, totally forgotten as it was. What will I have at that time? Photographs of dancers enlisting the Adavus. Not Adavu would have been performed like this. Tay yum ta ta tay tay ta ha. And the photographer might have clicked at this point. Tay yum ta ta tay. Actually, it's a cross, and there is no Natidal or Anchita at all in that photograph. And I would be doing like this, standing like this, doing something of my own, and then taking this posture, and I would call it Natadavu. How silly it is. The photographs of Adavus can be compared to the sculptures of Karanas. There are some movements to precede, something to follow. And these sculptures are nothing but frozen moments of movements. And the spirit behind the movement has to be brought. So the eyes, the eyebrows, the bhava, because nritta is considered to be a part of Angika Abhinaya. If Airavata has to come in the midst of a play, an elephant, a toy elephant will not be brought. A man will be performing like Airavata. He will be taking the Gajakriditachari and he will be showing the elephant. And he has to live the role of an elephant, and so it cannot be bhava vihinam. This nritta cannot be rasa vihinam. I will show you it. Lasya Angas. These are beautifying agents in dance. In fact, the beautifying agents in dance are referred to as Rechakas in Natya Shastra. And there are Rechakas of Pada, Kati, Hasta and Griva, it is neck. These are to be added to these movements. Otherwise, the movements are like skeleton without flesh. They are like the gamakas in music. Now, you have the swarasthanas in music and the gamakas, which are the microtones, which are around the sthanas but not staying in the sthana. They hover around the sthanas. They are the beautifying agents. In the same way, there are sthanas in the body which can be compared to the swarasthanas, and the rechakas in the body are like the gamakas in music. The body is spoken of in Upanishads as Veena, Sharira Veena. The body is tuned. In yoga, you will see that a total discipline of the body and mind is what is meant by yoga. It should be a union of discipline of body and mind. If it is simply mind, then I could be a saint sitting under a tree. If it is simply the body, then it burns down to mere circus or acrobats. But if it is dance, and that too dance based on Indian tradition, it has to be soulful. It has to be a total discipline of body and mind. And the mind has to be devoid. Even while doing pure nritta, the mind has to be devoid of any other distraction. While performing pure nritta, one looks into oneself. And even at that point, that enjoyment, that spiritual enjoyment which is derived out of nritta, is shared by the audience. If I suffer my dance, you will suffer it along with me, or you will suffer more than me. And if I enjoy my performance, then you enjoy it along with me, you share that joy. So pure nritta also is not rasa vihinam. And here, it is possible only when there is total synchronization of the sthanas and gamakas with the sthanas and rechakas in the body. And combining these two elements, that is music and movement, total synchronization of music and movement, is given a term Sukhalasa in later works like Sangeeta Ratnakara and Nritta Ratnavali of the medieval period. Sukhalasa is the term mentioned as one of the Lasya Angas to beautify Lasya. I composed music and created movement for the music, or I would rather say I conceived both music and movement simultaneously and named that particular piece as Sukhalasya. Not Sukhalasa, I called it Sukhalasya. But Sukhalasa is one of the angas which is to be used in dance to beautify dance. Now, to give you just an example, ga ga re ni da ga ga re ni ga ni da ma da ma ga re sa. You will see how music is seen visually raising in the body, and you will see the arohi and avarohi. Ga ga re. For that I use a pada rechaka. Ga ga re. ni, ni, da. For that I use a kati rechaka. Ga, ga, re. I use the shoulder. Ni, ga, re. Ni, re, ni. Da, ni, da. Ma, da, ma. Ga, re, sa. So, based on this, it is possible to perform for Raga Alapa. It can be South Indian Raga, it can be North Indian Raga, it can be Western music, it can be folk music. When the music is synchronized with movement, it is called Sukalasa. Now I'll request Shamla Balkrishnan, my sister-in-law, to sing some Raga Alapa, and I'll just perform. It's an extemporization. And in the same way, it is possible for Hindustani music. In fact, in some lecture demonstrations, I have had the pleasure in Bhopal to have somebody sing Hindustani. Now I am going to perform an item for Tchaikovsky's Symphony Orchestra. This is an item which I choreographed for the Festival of India in Soviet Union. I have choreographed as solo Jatayu Moksha from Ramayana for Tchaikovsky's Symphony Orchestra. You will recognize the charis I have shown you. For instance, I have used for the entry of Shurpanaka. I start with Shurpanaka's episode. Shurpanaka coming, and then you know the story, I don't want to repeat. Lakshmana cutting her nose. You will see how Tchaikovsky's music is mood music, and it helped me to change characters, portray different characters and different bhavas. I introduced Shurpanaka in Parshvaprantachari. I have, for the whole symphony, I have used only Natya Shastra technique, using the whole body. And any of those movements can be named. It's pure classical, older Margi style of dance performed to symphony orchestra. And after the Shurpanaka episode, you have the Maricha episode, and then you have Ravana coming and carrying Sita, then Jatayu fighting and losing the wings one by one, and finally Rama coming and doing the cremation and giving salvation to this king bird. I have used Vrishchikapada, I have used for Jatayu, and particularly for the fight, Garuda Pluta, I have used Griddha Avalinaka, and many of the Karanas I have used. You will see how the charis and the karanas fit in for any music. Only to show you the universality of Natya Shastra technique, I thought I must perform this item for this recording. And it has been highly acclaimed. Actually, the Russian papers wrote that Padma has united the soul of India with that of Russia through this number. As usual, I mean, people here have distorted, some of them have distorted the opinion, but I have it all on record, fortunately, for the file of Iccr. And another comment in the television was that it looked as though Tchaikovsky anticipated Padma's choreography for this number and composed music. And there has been an echo of this comment very unexpectedly from London. Recently, I presented this in London, and no less a person than Dr. John Marr, a great Oriental scholar, has written a glorious review for this. And then again, an echo from England. America wanted this number to be performed, so I performed in America, United States, as well as in Canada, where this number has been very well appreciated. I would like to share that joy with you and Iccr through this recording. You will see me using fast footwork also. Actually, I forgot to mention about the footwork. When I perform in the faster tempo, people think I'm mixing Kathak. Actually, the Shastra says that we have to practice music and dance in 6 speeds, Shat Kala. And we have people, name of Shat Kala Govinda Marar from Kerala, who got inspired through Tyagaraja's Pancharatnas. And he was called Shatkala Govinda Marar because he could play and he could manipulate all the 6 kalas. And we were supposed to practice all this in 6 speeds. In the south, that tradition has somewhat been a bit out of vogue in some of the Paddhatis. But actually, this is called Padapata. It is another Sukala, like Sukalasa, which is a Lasyanga. Padapata is another Lasyanga, where, for example, Kitatakatari Kitatum, which is normally performed as Kitatakatari Kitatum. This is what we perform in Sadar. Kitatakatari Kitatum for 9 syllables. Actually, the dancer uses only only 4 syllables are filled up through the footwork. If it has to be Padapata Lasyanga, then it has to be Kitatakatari Kitatum, Kitatakatari Kitatum, Kitatakatari Kitatum, and not Kitatakatari Kitatum. So this is also based on Shastra, and it is not as though this is the birthright of only Kathak dancers. All dancers can perform this. Now I will perform the Jatayu Moksha for Tchaikovsky's symphony. This is actually the overture of his ballet Romeo and Juliet.
श्रियकान्ताय कल्याणनिधये निधये अर्थिना श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलौ श्रियकान्ताय कल्याणनिधये निधये अर्थिना श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलौ 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 मङ्गलौ
I'd like to thank Srimati Dr. Padma Subramaniam for this wonderful lecture and demonstration, and her very interesting creative piece which foreigners enjoyed and we didn't enjoy. So we are very happy that now many of us can enjoy since it's recorded. And Uma and Jai Rajalakshmi, and of course Shyamala ji, for your beautiful singing and your orchestra. We hope to see more of you. Thank you. We have Sri Nagappan on the Mridangam, Sri Venkatesh on the flute, and Sri Babu on the violin. And of course, the president of our Nrityodaya is Balakrishnan. We are puppets in his hands. He is the Sutradhar. Sorry, Vasumati, who assisted in the vocal music.